So early on in the movie, Deadpool says this is a love story, and he is saying it somewhat facetiously, but he's not that off the mark. This actually turns out to be, I think, a very perfect Valentine's Day movie.
Have you seen this man?
I never say this, but don't swallow.
Full disclosure, I did see this movie 3 times this opening weekend. But that being said, this will be a spoiler-free review. Deadpool is a story about Ryan Reynolds playing Wade Wilson, a mercenary with a little heart of gold. And our not hero then finds out that he has terminal cancer.
The cancer's only my liver, lungs, prostate, and brain. All things I can live without.
What if I told you we can make you better? You're a fighter. We can give you abilities most men only dream of. Make you a superhero.
You just promise you'll do right by me, so I can do right by someone else.
In order for him to save his own life, he subjects himself to this shadowy organization, allows them to experiment on him so that way he can heal his cancer, and as they promise, he'll get some enhanced abilities out of it and maybe actually become a superhero. Come to find out that the shadowy organization, yeah, they're a bunch of assholes. Yeah, they might give you some special abilities, but they're also going to sell you as a slave to warlords and drug dealers and countries with really questionable reputations. Wade says, F that noise, breaks out, escapes, becomes Deadpool, and now has to go on his revenge mission / get back to his loved ones. So that's the basic premise of it. Everything I'm going to say about this movie is super effing obvious. And that's not because this movie doesn't have anything that you can really dive into and dissect. It's just that everything that they do is so obvious and should be something that all movies should, especially comic book superhero movies, should be doing, that it's mind-boggling that we even have to praise it. For example, the number one thing that this movie absolutely does right is that it is absolutely faithful to its source material. I know, sounds stupid and obvious, right? I agree. That shouldn't be something that we should praise so highly, but this is the world we live in, where movie studios and writers just want to cherry pick from mythologies. Honestly, you could have taken the storyboards from this movie, slap some color on them, and publish them as a comic book. That's how faithful it is. Ryan Reynolds is not only the right person, but the look of the character is down. Every joke and every time that they break the fourth wall, they never go ahead and overdo anything about him. It's done to perfection. Another character that I never thought we would ever get a really great version of him, Colossus. At no point do you ever think that they could have done better, because it's just... I literally sat there for the movie because, honest to God, more of my reactions towards a movie are usually like, oh, that's okay, but, you know, they could have done this or done that. I was just simply sitting there like, shit, I can't say anything. This is a good movie. Another thing that they get right are the characters and their motivations. What? The most surprising thing about this movie and the character Deadpool is the fact that they're willing to go ahead and embrace the full and complicated character that is Deadpool. Because on the surface, Deadpool is a very two-dimensional dude. You know, he's just super violent. He's got a really cool costume and an endless array of dick and poop jokes. Okay, that would have been a very, very simple movie to make. Listen, let's be honest. With these movies being primarily marketed towards adolescent and adult males, they're not really trying to explore the male superheroes' well of insecurities and vulnerabilities. That's just not something they really try to, inch towards.
Oh, motherfucker, you are hard to look at.
Like a testicle with teeth.
You look like Freddy Krueger face-fucked a topographical map of Utah.
Exactly.
But it is absolutely integral to the character, because those vulnerabilities, those insecurities, those are what fuels his humanity and his good sides, what he likes to call his soft spots. Because if he isn't that person who has a soul, he just ends up being the asshole. And let's also get into that. The assholes in this movie, the villains, they are done wonderfully. And I really got to give it up to the studio, to the filmmakers, Ryan Reynolds, whoever was in charge of actually getting this rating to be committed to an R rating. This was necessary, because one of the drawbacks about having a PG-13 movie is that your villains can't really be that evil. They may say they're that evil. You may get a really cool costume and some ominous music in the background. You may even have a really scary guy playing the villain. I'm listening to the words that you're saying, but none of your actions are really speaking to me as to how evil you are. The people in this movie are fucking horrible. They're terrible human beings and they deserve everything that they got coming to them.
One thing that never survives this place is a sense of humor.
We'll see about that, Posh Spice.
Oh, come on. You gonna leave me all alone here with less angry Rosie O'Donnell?
But that's also important for the character of Deadpool because he gets to see what true evil is. He always says that he's not a hero, but by seeing how horrible that some people really are, he also can see that he's certainly not one of them as well. So he gets to live in this happy medium where he can be just as crude and morally ambiguous as he is, but also knowing that he can do some good and also not let people like them just take advantage and do whatever it is that they want to do. The fight scenes are absolutely incredible. The action is well choreographed, well lit, well shot. There was never any point where I was like, what am I looking at? This movie is great. Everything that this movie does just does incredibly well, all the way down to the dialogue, the fact that they never overdo any one thing or another. That being said, I will say that I would have appreciated a longer running time. So the running time on this movie is only 108 minutes. And I say only just because what I was watching was so much fun that by the time the ending showed up, I was like, really? That's it? I would have been so happy if they would have added another 30 minutes. I do have a suspicion that's more to do with the $58 million budget, but the bang for the buck that they got out of $58 million is absolutely fantastic and wonderful. This is a movie that could have just benefited from more. Not that what they have here isn't enough, but if you really wanted to take it from an 8 to a 9 or a 9 to a 10, this movie had 30 more minutes of awesomeness, I'd be sitting here the happiest panda that ever lived. Right now, I'm just kind of one of the happiest pandas that ever lived. So is Deadpool a perfect movie? Nope. But it is a damn near perfect Deadpool movie. Yeah, so tell me what you think. Comment, subscribe below, do whatever it is that you feel the need to do. And I will talk to you guys later, okay? Okay, love you, bye!